thank you all so much for being here today, and thank you for making it and sitting through these beautiful presentations with us. Tammy and I are thrilled to be here with you today and share with you the findings of our study that we first had the privilege of introducing at the IAS retreat back in December, entitled Psychedelic Experiences and Attitudes Among Young Adults in Southern California. So I'm Sara Shoar. I'm a second-year Master of Public Health student here at USC, studying biostatistics and epidemiology.
And I'm Tammy Fritz, a first-year Master of Addiction Science student here at USC.
So for generations, humans have been using plants and fungi to alter the experience of consciousness. And in the mid-20th centuries, psychedelic research sparked a revolution in neuroscience and clinical trials, showing immense potential. However, by the early 70s, they were labeled as a threat and deemed as having no accepted medical use, leading to a sudden halt in the golden age of psychedelic science. Recently, however, we are witnessing the emergence of the psychedelic renaissance, signaling a paradigm shift in attitudes and experiences and a renewed scientific exploration within the field. And we can see from some of the recent news articles and documentaries that have been emerging that psychedelics have become increasingly prominent in our contemporary culture. So psychedelics, also referred to as hallucinogens, are distinguished by their unique capacity to alter consciousness and perception with low toxicity and minimal addictive properties. Okay, so can we get a quick show of hands? How many of us have used psychedelics in this crowd today? Just kidding, you don't have to answer that. But really, the increasing prevalence of psychedelics is made apparent by the latest National Survey of Drug Use and Health, or NSDUH data, where 3% of Americans reported past year hallucinogen use, marking the highest level recorded to date. The psychedelic renaissance unfolds against the backdrop of an ongoing global mental health crisis. And this has reignited interest in psychedelics as an innovative potential therapeutic modality. So currently, the psychedelic landscape continues to evolve with ongoing decriminalization and legalization initiatives in multiple states, and also FDA approval within the horizon, as we can see from the substances specifically listed on this slide.
And therefore, we aim to investigate the association of our exposure variable, ever use, with two validated scales, attitudes towards psychedelics and perceived sense of connectedness. Our attitude scale assesses overall attitudes towards psychedelics, including the potential for healthcare use, safety concerns, and comparisons with other illegal drugs. The second scale assesses an individual's perceived sense of general connectedness, including questions such as, I feel connected to the world, to nature, to my body, to my senses, etc. We also accounted for covariates such as demographic characteristics, other recreational substance use, and mental health conditions. Our population, we selected students ages 18 to 30 in Southern California due to their significant mental health challenges and the growing disconnect experienced by young adults, particularly in today's technology-driven society. Our recruitment strategy involved a comprehensive approach, primarily focusing on social media and outreach to student organizations across various college campuses in Southern California. It is worth noting that we did target psychedelic users through some of our outreach materials to ensure a sufficient sample size. As you can see from some of our messaging here on our flyers.
Thanks, Tammy. So overall, we received a diverse sample of 355 students who completed the entirety of our survey with an average age of about 45 years old and 69% of those respondents identifying as female. It is worth highlighting that 40% of our sample indicated prior psychedelic use, suggesting a considerable portion of young adults have experimented with psychedelics. Notably, psychedelic users were significantly more likely to have used other recreational substances and also have pre-existing medical conditions. Also of note, the data reveals a significant association between prior psychedelic use and existing mental health conditions, indicating that individuals with such conditions or a family history thereof were more likely to have used psychedelics.
And so, among young adults surveyed, the most commonly used psychedelic was first MDMA, then psilocybin, then ketamine, and then after that, LSD. Regarding the intention of use, which was a select all that apply question, the majority of respondents that reported using psychedelics reported that they used for fun and recreational purposes or curiosity. Then, surprisingly, for processing difficult emotions and therapeutic exploration as our third highest statistic. And 91% of those who have used psychedelics have reported that their experiences with psychedelic have had an impact on their overall attitudes towards psychedelics. And when we asked the question, my experience with psychedelics was one of the most profound experiences of my life, the majority of respondents, approximately 58% of those, responded as either agree or strongly agree.
So overall, our multiple linear regression analysis revealed that individuals reporting prior psychedelic use have had significantly higher attitude scores towards psychedelics compared to those who did not report prior psychedelic use after controlling for the covariates listed on this slide. On the contrary, the regression analysis showed no significant association between prior psychedelic use and perceived sense of connectedness, again after controlling for these covariates. So our study has several limitations to consider. First, there's the potential recruitment bias due to our reliance on a convenient sample, as we collected samples from undergraduate university students, both undergraduate and graduate university students in Southern California, thus limiting the generalizability of our findings. Furthermore, the use of self-reporting bias may introduce, or self-reporting may introduce biases, and also our cross-sectional design impedes on the ability to establish causality. Additionally, recruitment and non-response biases may have led to an underrepresentation of certain groups within our sample. So in conclusion, our study indicates an appreciable portion of young adults have experimented with psychedelics, finding that those with prior experiences tend to hold more favorable views and attitudes towards psychedelics. Our study makes something else apparent as well. A substantial number of young adults facing mental health challenges are already using psychedelics recreationally, often with therapeutic intent, highlighting their potential as an alternative therapeutic avenue. Further investigation, particularly through real-world epidemiological data analysis, is crucial to understanding psychedelic use outside of clinical settings, specifically given the contextual variability of psychedelic effects. Continued research into young adults' psychedelic use behaviors is vital to assess both risks and therapeutic potentials. And ultimately, this research can inform educational efforts and support systems to better address young adults' mental well-being. So we want to give a special thank you to the individuals that are listed on this slide. We couldn't have done this research without them. And here are references, and thank you so much for your attention today, and we welcome any questions you may have.